and it focuses on culture and world heritage. There's another one, nature and culture. With the beautiful waterfalls, also very easy accessible from Luang Prabang, just 30 minutes drive by car, you're there. It's a great product, it sells very well. This one, the elephant tracking. The last week I had from Kony, Netherlands, and then asked afterwards also from Kony, UK. They both were asking me independently, can we still make elephant rides? Because there's a big debate in Europe now that it's not good for the elephants to sit on them and to go for 2 hours. So I had to answer them, and then because actually in Laos it helps a lot, because here that's also a great example to see how nature conservation and tourism can work together. Because these elephants, they otherwise would just die, or they would, they take the ivory. And before they were all working in the forest to carry the logs. But now they don't do that anymore. They have heavy machines, so they don't need the elephants anymore. But when they carry the tourists, they have a value. The elephants have a value. I mean, it sounds stupid, but it's like that. The elephants have a value again, and the owners of the elephants, the local people, they will keep them, and they will keep them healthy because to carry the tourists. Of course, there are also some negative examples. There are some who just exploit the elephants, but then we will not use them anymore, because we also have to ensure that, because the tourists, they also see that, and we will want to ensure that they carry on healthy elephants. So it's like a sustainable elephant experience, and they have like a big elephant village, right? Again, outside Luang Prabang, where the people can go for a day or 2 days, and they can have the mahout. The mahout is the elephant trainer. So it's the man who sits on the elephant and who knows how to go with the elephant. They can make a class like that, to have their own elephant, experience the life with the elephant, and it's also local culture. This is a great product. It sells fantastic, and it's very sustainable. So I was talking about activities, but there's also, of course, accommodation, which can be unique. So before the example I was using, they were all very easily accessible. But now this one is an example which was not easily accessible before. But with this place, they created a market. It's around 5 hours on the river, upstream, from Luang Prabang, this big tourist hub, and they make this beautiful little bungalows. They're very nice, but very comfortable and clean. Like Western clients, they always have to have it very clean, otherwise they will not like it. And it created a market. They have 14 bungalows there, and now we sell it since many years. We create new products with them. The people, they bought just to stay in this Luang Prabang town. They want to go somewhere else, so they go to this beautiful place at the river and stay there for a night. Before, we could not do that. So maybe you have something like that. Maybe you have a place where which is not too far from main tourist site. So it's still like, let's say, 4 hours, 5 hours away. And it can create a new market, because it's really unique in that area. There's also another site in the further north in the country where there was really nothing, close to the border to China, and they were building a 5-star boutique resort there, and now it's always full. It's the only place in the whole area. And the people travel there now, they spend like half a day extra just to get there and just want to stay there. Because it's so nice, it's in a local village, very luxury, but the people want to go there now. Okay, this is another one. The one I showed you before, the night cost like $60. Here it costs $800. I mean, it's just to show you, I don't think you will do something like that, but this is just to show you they create a value just by their name. It's called Amantaka, so the people, they have the hotels everywhere in the world, and the people just go there because it's an Aman, and they pay a lot of money for that. So, maybe you can also do that. It's also a unique selling proposition. Okay, so whenever you create a product, when you see that your product is in a good location, it will have some added value, it has a unique selling proposition, you still have to think about the host community. Of course, you also have to think about, is it sustainable? Will it be okay in the long run? Can you give back something to the community or to the nature which surrounds it? So, I will not go too much into detail with that, but it is very important. Because without local support, you will have no long-lasting, successful product. I think it's very, very clear, very logical. It's also good when you create a product that maybe you go together with the community, maybe some community leaders, you talk with them, you involve them in the decision making of your product, let them be part of it, and if they're part of it, it will be more successful. They have to gain something from it. Not just in terms of, it can be also in terms of employment. If it gives jobs to the people. Or you can create a community fund. There are many, many possibilities. Your target group. I was giving the example with the Chinese and the Western clients, which are very different from each other. You have to really know your target group. And when I go, for example, just because to make it simple, to have one case, it's Laos, for example, it's visa hoppers, it's people who are culturally interested, repeaters to Asia, nature interested, and Vietnam is also business travelers, culture, nature interested, beach holidays, and so on. And Myanmar is similar to Vietnam, but it has added value because it's new and trendy. When I go, for example, to Turkey, because we have like 2 participants from Turkey, in Turkey, for example, you have a very wide variety of target groups. You have the package holiday makers who just go to the beach. Maybe they can go for 1 day or half a day, they want to go somewhere outside. Or you have the very culturally interested people as well who also would like to come to Turkey. Yeah, you have. But you have to, for your product, you have to know your target group. Okay, and then when you think about your target group, you may want to use some statistics, some general statistics about arrival lists. So you see, for example, I don't know, who's the #1 visitor from Turkey? German? German people, okay. So #1 visitors is German, and you see maybe it goes up every year, but then it's not that easy. You don't just take that one. Or Madagascar, what is your first? French, okay. In Spain, probably also German, UK, no? Yeah. So, you should look at the statistics, but it's easy to get tricked. When you see, for example, statistics for Laos, it goes up every year. But be critical to the numbers. So then you take the different source markets, different countries. Of course, you can also split again the source market, like the UK or like Germany. You can split it again into different sectors. In Laos, it's fairly easy because they all come because of the culture and the nature. But if you talk about Spain or if you talk about Turkey, It's much more complex. So then you have to go to different statistics and you have to see what are they actually doing. Are they just go to the beach? Or they just go to the Mediterranean? Or who's going to the mountainous areas, for example? Not so many Germans are going there, but still you have it. Yeah. But then when you see here, for example, I mean, you saw before the slide, this again just to give you an example of how to read this kind of statistics, okay? So the numbers go up, but you see that most of the numbers come from the neighboring country, Vietnam, Thailand, and surprisingly Korea. So what are they doing there? Do you want to target Koreans maybe? The Koreans go there very often to play golf. Because you have a lot of golf courses in Laos, they're cheap, and in Korea they're very expensive. Okay, this is probably not a sustainable eco product, but that's what they do. You have to understand these patterns. But if you see the other ones, like if you want to target Western clients, they're all down. So to summarize, you have the high growth markets, medium growth, stagnation, decline, unsteady. Okay. That's the revenue. It's not just about the numbers. It's not just to have the highest numbers. It's how much money do the tourists leave in the country. And I advise you, when you create your own product, look for high revenue tourists. Don't go for the cheap. It's really better. Maybe you have to invest a little bit more in the beginning, but then in the end your returns will be much better. So in Laos you can see that the revenue per tourist is around the same for the whole period. It went down a bit, then it goes up a bit, then goes down a bit. But so you have like the revenue per tourist in US dollar per day is around $150. That's what they spend per day. In Cambodia, they spend around $100 more. They spend $250. Why is that? Because you have many people from Thailand or Vietnam that just cross the border to buy the bottle of Johnny Walker because it's very cheap in Laos and go back, but it's one tourist. You have to be very careful about the statistics. So here again, if you see for Laos, you have the arrival numbers and the revenue. So you have 16% only international tourists. International tourists means tourists outside the neighboring countries, not from the neighboring countries. 16% only. But they leave 55% of the revenue. The 16% is 55% of the revenue. Crazy, no? So what are the 84 regional tourists doing? They spend very little money. So you have to think again about it, who do I target for? Do I want to target for the 84% or do I want to target for the 16%? Okay? Yes?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Now I think this is the kind of this is an evaluation of the financial outcome. But what about the environmental impact? I mean, which of the tourist groups, whether international or local, compared to their numbers, what is their impact on the environment? I think in ecotourism, we should look at the picture both in economical and environmental.
Definitely. Thank you very much. It's a very good question. Because what I try to do here in my presentation, I don't want to talk so much about ecotourism, about eco, and also I don't want to talk too much about sustainability. Because I don't want to make it too long, and I also assume that you all have the knowledge what these terms mean. But of course, when you think again about your target group, you have to think about again who's more interested in sustainability factors and eco factors. So that's what you have to think about again. I can tell you very clear, for example, from this chart, you can see clearly that unfortunately it's like that the regional tourists, the 84%, they don't care actually at all about sustainability and eco. It's the 16%, the international tourists, they come especially for that. But this you have to find out yourself in your destination. Okay. Is answer? Okay. Okay, to summarize, again, you have to know your target market. I cannot say it often enough. You have to know your unique selling proposition. Why should someone want your product? What is the added value? How much will they pay? And do you make money with it? It's not a bad thing to make money with it. Because if you don't make money, it doesn't make any sense to do it. Competition. I didn't talk about this before. How is the competition look like? Competition can be good as well. Like I mentioned earlier, if there are other sustainable products around you which already attracts a lot of tourists, if you might add another one which still has a unique selling proposition, it will be easier for you to attract clients. But it can be also bad. Too much competition can also kill the market. So you're not sure if you can get into that market or not. And can you handle it long term? How is the access? Is it easily accessible? Are you really eco-friendly? And do the locals like it too? No? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Björn. Are there any questions related to the presentation of Björn? Yes, please.
Well, it's not a presentation, it's about thinking about the data, how you interpret the data, or the statistical data regarding the international tourists and the regional ones. You have to be careful about thinking about speaking about the environmental impact of international versus the region. Because you mentioned something that I'm not convinced that the regional don't take care about the environment. I don't agree with you. On the contrary, you are dealing ecotourism. The impact is positive because we are trying to make them aware what does it mean ecotourism and the good practices that you are doing in Hungary.
Thank you, very good question. Okay, I'm talking about from the perspective who's buying your product. Who will buy your product? Who will want your product? Okay, so, and then I look at what are the regional tourists buying, what are they doing, how long they stay also in the country. And I mean, this is really different from case to case. Maybe in Morocco it's completely different. You know, I mean, it really depends on your country. This is just one example I wanted to give you, and one way of how to see the data. Of course, maybe in Spain it's a complete different picture, because you have them all from the neighboring countries. It's a complete different story. But for Laos, it's like that because you have to. I mean, there are no definite numbers on this, but you have to see that what products are they buying, and the regional tourists, they come on a bus, they stay sometimes just for a day, and then they go back. And they really go and buy. They go shopping, they buy, and then they go. So it's a different pattern of traveling they're using. So and some of the eco products you have, like the one I showed before, this lodge, this resort, you will not have a single tourist from the region, from the neighboring countries there. There will be no neighboring countries, they will not go there. It's not interesting for them. It's just not attractive for them. That's why it would be not your target group, for example. But of course, in the future, in the long run, we have to make sure that they also like it, and that they get used to that, and that we slowly get them into that. Because without that, it will not work. Because you can also see the growth is there in the regional markets and the neighboring countries who bring, we will come more and more, and they will also gain more money. And maybe in the future, their patterns of traveling will change as well. So in the future, maybe they will be more interested in eco products. But right now, it's just not the case. In the example of Laos, it can be different in your country. Okay? Thank you.
Where would one get those statistics in most countries?
There's always official statistics from the Ministry of Tourism, for example. They always have this kind of statistics. And they always publish a yearbook. For example, for 2011, it usually comes out in April or May. It takes some time to have the data. It's a book like this, and they're really all differentiated by country, by source market, and so on.